in the great city of New York, there is so much money to be made.
Agreed.
There are so many people. It is a very densely populated area. There's some clients to be had in New
They're
York.
all over the place.
So, and this industry is quite small. Like everybody sort of knows each other, in their own social circles. The gyms are pretty well known. So we know coaches, personal trainers. We know who are the players in town. So let's do a guideline of how somebody should get their foot in the door in the fitness industry of New York. So Manny, we're here to talk about the most important thing in life.
Money?
It is about money.
Let's go.
It is what rules the world.
Screw relationships.
Love.
Don't need that either.
Emotional support.
Nah. Money is your
a nice
support.
Hug. No, this supersedes all of that.
You can buy
guys.
all of that with money.
That's true. That is the truest thing that you've said in all of our episodes. Anyways,
out of all 20, that's the one.
We talk so much about the fitness industry, but we haven't discussed what governs it all, and that is getting paid. So, if our listeners want to get paid, want to get into this industry for all the right reasons, for all the wrong reasons, where do you think we should start?
So for those who don't have a job, who wants to become a personal trainer, this message is for you. And I would highly recommend, at least per my experience, the first step that you need to do to get paid as a personal trainer is 1, get your certification first, because legally you cannot be a personal trainer without the certification.
I do need some lawyers to I don't know. I don't know. All right.
Wait, no. So this is like saying you want to be an accountant, right? And you need to be certified as an accountant by being a CPA.
Let me unveil a little bit behind the.
Yes. But again, legally, I mean, you could train a buddy, and he could slip you $50, but still, it's a business transaction that you need legal documentation in order to be able to provide that service.
Right. Look, I like to live in a world where if your pet needs grooming, right, and your pet needs a shampoo, I want my pet shampoo person to be certified in pet shampoo.
Yeah.
I would like to live in that world, right? I know barbershops can be shut down if they don't have their, all their ducks in a row.
But the main guy does. The main guy who is owning, he should.
I sat down.
I mean, they're all over the wall.
One shop that I went to, I remember this in high school, that they shot down like, hey, I want to see everyone's papers, everyone's certifications. You need to be licensed to be a barber, and then some people weren't, and then I was the last haircut for this barbershop in Jersey City. So those things, yes. I agree that you should be certified on a legal perspective, and we do condone you do it the right way. Mm-hmm. But let's say somebody wants to get started, right?
Minus getting certified.
Minus getting certified. I think before all that, I feel that people should start training people for free. I think they should start with friends, family, and see if they see if they got a knack for this. See if they could oh man, I'm not bad. Why would anyone start in the fitness industry to begin with?
They would like to help somebody with
who are these people?
Muscle?
Who are these people? No. They want to help. I feel that some people should have a little bit of a success story themselves.
Agreed.
And I think a lot of people like to. Here's the number one thing. I think people become trainers, become coaches because they like working out and they want to use that as a career, which I don't think should be your main goal.
Okay.
That's just my first hot take of the day. But I will say, if anybody wants to start dabbling in this, even like, let's say you are getting your certification, you're getting your NASM, your ACE, your ABCD alphabet soup certification. I think in the meantime, I think you should get the reps in, much like building muscle, much like working out. Get the reps in and start training people on the down low. Hey, if they slip you like a $50, under the table, who are you to say no? Get your money and try it out. But I will say, start training people for free, and then see if that's cool. Can you see yourself for the rest of your life in this industry, just from those couple weeks of training people?
I think the downside of training people for free when you're first starting out is that, one, you're investing a lot of time and you're also working around other people's schedule. So yes, you, during the stages of learning of becoming a personal trainer, and you're doing things for free, it still has a lot of time that you need to invest in. And for people out there who are not familiar with how personal trainer schedules work, majority of it is before work hours, which is before 8 a.m., lunchtime, which is around 11 to 1 p.m., and then you have the after work crowd, which is usually after 4 or 5. So majority of that is, one, you have to find the people who can trust you, that you can train.
Your unemployed friend.
Your unemployed friend.
Yes, he has a full schedule.
Then screw it. Never mind.
Yeah.
You're training him at 2 p.m. Nobody in the gym, and just the gym to yourself.
Yeah.
So I guess, yes, that would be the only downsides with that. But I would probably say is people need to first dabble into training themselves. I think you have to, one, have a lot of experience firsthand before you start teaching somebody else something in the gym.
Correct. And that's the topic for today's show. All right. In the great city of New York City,
okay,
which was a Dutch colony.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, it was native land.
Okay.
We are telling people how to make it in the greatest city in the world. You would say, you've been to a lot of places, right?
Yep.
You say New York's the greatest city in the world. All right. It's a proven fact.
Mm-hmm. Not Jersey.
And then our
last week I remember we said Jersey, but I guess this week it's New York.
For this educational purpose alone, people want to get started. If you want to go Jersey City, like, guys, I feel like Walter White. I feel like just stay off my territory.
Mm-hmm.
That's but in the great city of New York, there is so much money to be made.
Agreed.
There are so many people. It is a very densely populated area. There's some clients to be had in New York,
all over the place.
So, and this industry is quite small. Like, everybody sort of knows each other, in their own social circles. Mm-hmm. The gyms are pretty well known. So we know coaches, personal trainers. We know who are the players in town. So let's do a guideline of how somebody should get their foot in the door in the fitness industry of New York.
So this is my personal experience, and this is probably my recommendation as well for people who have not been in the fitness industry, who want to be in the fitness industry, is apply for the big box gyms. I think that that's the lowest barrier of entry to get into it, whether that's working on the front desk team, working as the cleaning team, or working on the membership team. And I think that once your foot is in that door, you can express and you can feel the different type of feelings that you need to have in order to dictate whether or not you actually want to be there. So it's giving a little bit of exposure to it.
I agree. And I think a benefit of that is you do get a free gym membership. And I do feel like there are a certain amount of people that would like to get a free gym membership. It's sort of like yoga studios, spin studios. They would like, hey, let me do front desk. And then they get classes as a benefit or whatever. And then they could use a steam room. They could use a sauna. They could rub elbows with the social elite, the 1%ers of this,
Some box gyms also provide continuing education for you to get your personal training license.
Agreed.
It was very small stipend from my experience.
Yes. And whether or not those classes or those workshops or those certifications that you take are not necessarily going to help you with your training later down the line, which I can agree. Some of them that I've taken have not benefited me in my training career now, but it gets you credentials. Going back to like what I said, being a personal trainer, at least a certified one, right? You do need continuing educational units every 1 or 2 years that can help you to keep your certification and kind of dictate whether or not you can be on the floor or not.
How have they not benefited you?
I mean, when you learn about how to swing
Bulgarian bag.
Yeah, so that's all
Bulgarian bag certification.
There you
not
go.
all certs are created equal.
Yeah.
The aqua bag, Bosu chain.
Exactly.
Yeah, that thing.
I mean, you can also argue that some certifications like noodle soup that I don't want to mention can tell you on how to assess people and how their movement competencies are. But when you go into the real world of training, majority of the times you're not even going to be using those assessments. Usually it's you talk to the person, what do you want to do? What are strategies that we can use in order to get you to where you want to be? And then you go from there.
Honestly, take these alphabet soup certifications and honestly forget everything you memorize, took the test, because that's going to serve you diddly squat. I don't think it helps you in being a salesman. I don't think it helps you in like anyone that talks like exactly how they do in a textbook are the people they don't want to hire anyways.
Right.
So I think, step 1, walk through the doors. If you're not a member, be a member or try to be involved, like you said, in some sort of like, I don't know, clerk position. Maybe you do want to get into training. You do want to step into membership. They're always hiring. These places, it's a rotating door of people, and don't get attached because these people are gonna leave.
The turnover rate is crazy.
It's so crazy.
But it's the ones who actually want to be there are the ones who actually stay there the longest.
What makes, and I think I'm going to a little foreshadowing into our answers later on, but what makes a very good trainer in these box gyms?
By the box gym standards or by your own standards?
Things you've seen, people that you know, experiences yourself.
Okay, I think what can make you very successful in a box gym is you are able to talk to every single person on the floor.
There you go.
Without trying to sell them.
There you go.
Because once you start approaching them and your first approach is trying to sell them, you will not sell them a dime.
You want to do any gym you want to go to, whether it's like a F45, it's a Barry's Boot Camp, it's a Lifetime Fitness. You don't want to be too used car salesman.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to come off being that sales talk. You got to have conversations, real life conversations. You got to have the art of small talk. Mm-hmm. How to win friends, influence people, and manipulate them to do whatever you want. It's a good book to read. Mm-hmm. And you got to sort of be in the know. Hey, the movie that we just saw, or like, hey, the Copa America. You want to talk about
Game of Thrones.
You want to talk about Game of Thrones things. You don't want to be in the know. You want to talk about stocks. You want to like talk what people are into. Like you who are just hyper nerdy about stuff, and honestly, they get business also.
I think there's always somebody for someone. So a lot of people like to attach themselves with people that they identify as them, whether that is how they look, sexual orientation, I guess, or just like generally what they want to look like in 5 or 10 years or whatever like that. But I think that a lot of people, when you're going to the gym, even though you are, let's just say, the outlier or the not normal person who is a trainer, there is always people going to be interested in what you're doing. And I think by setting an example in the gym, so let's say you look very nerdy. You're the type of dude who has like ponytails with purple hair and glasses.
A guy from Brooklyn, got it.
A guy from Brooklyn. There you go. And you're ridiculously strong. Like you're the strongest dude in that gym. Somebody who aspires to be as strong as you will probably approach you to be
damn, bro.
To be trained by.
That's the thing. A lot of guys that have like muscle, they think they're gonna attract a lot of women. They're gonna get more questions from guys instead.
Exactly.
It's like it's
yeah. The buff dudes in the gym usually have majority male clients.
Yeah. Here's a bonus. It helps if you're good looking.
It does.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say, like ugly people, you have a chance too. But like, but if you're good looking, most likely people will hire you. I mean, it's the stats say it. I don't need a link.
Marketability.
I don't need a LinkedIn psychologist to tell me that good looking people get hired. No, it's just the reality of this world. And it's the same thing with personal trainers, coaches. They like a good eye candy. All right. Or they like something to be inspired. Like, damn, like I got to reach to that type of level, you know? So it helps. So I will say, and the fear of not being body positive.
In New York, you're saying realistically, marketability and having, things work in your favor, your physical attributes absolutely help.
Absolutely. Yes. But if you don't got your together and you are absolutely a mess, you got this horrible diet, you smoke, you get trashed during the weekends, you got this terrible cocaine addiction, you gotta get it. You gotta get it right. All right. You gotta make the right decisions because people are looking for you to fix their life. So if you don't got it together, bro, so that is basically, in a weird way, the steps on how to make it in this industry.
Right.
All right. Step 1, be good looking. Step 2, talk to everybody. And 3, be interested in what they're interested in.
Whether it's true or not.
Well, yeah, you don't have to agree. Yeah, you know what I mean? You could be pro Coke and Pepsi. I don't care. What are you into, man? Whoever it is in your election, I'm voting for the same guy. That's wild. You just told me the other guy you were voting for him.
I think what it also comes down to, whenever somebody is interested in training with you as a personal trainer, is that clients or future clients have to be convinced that you actually care for them and not just there to take all their money and dip. Because I think when it comes to the gym, they want to find somebody that can actually, one, take them from where they are and progress them forward to whatever their goals are, and two, make them feel good about it. I think that if you have somebody coming up to you that you know for a fact, at least in the gym setting, that is just there to sell you 30 training sessions and then not give a shit about you after that, I don't think that you'll be able to sell that person any kind of training.
Correct. I mean, results, they are important. They're I wouldn't put them at the top of the pyramid, but it's up there.
I don't think results are what a lot of potential clients are really looking for in the beginning before they invest. I think majority of it is can this person in front of me help me move forward, whether or not it gets you to the actual results that you want.
Right.
So your desire is, as a potential client, is to lose 30 pounds. You see Jake over there who works out every day at the gym that you go to, and he looks like he's pretty diligent with his workouts. And based on his chiseled body, he probably knows a little, one or two things about nutrition.
Right.
He approaches me, says I'm doing my squat wrong, and he offers me help on fixing my squat in a very nice manner. And then I'll be interested to be like, hey, where did you learn this? Can you help me to this goal? So I think with that, it's one, liking Jake, appreciating his Adonis type body, and then believing that he can get me to a place where I can progress from where I am at now versus where I want to be.
You could go the physical therapist route and be like saying they're doing everything wrong. Here's one way. You manipulate them psychologically that says, oh no, your squat is absolutely trash. So, you know, like I can get you there. I don't do that. I'm more positive.
So what are you telling?
Now you're positive.
No, I've been positive this whole time. Like,
wait,
listen.
If you have listened to this podcast, we have 20 episodes listed. Please.
They have the receipt.
Please.
All right,
show me where you were positive on this timeline of episodes.
So, like a lot. So, oh God.
Point to me at what episode did you use positive reinforcement?
Step to any gym, right? And there will be trainers that will tell you you're doing this wrong, that wrong, that wrong. It's like you're going to a mechanic. It's like you're going to a doctor. People that you don't trust, right? So that's what these people are. It's like, man, I'm doing something wrong and like I want to get it right. So that usually helps. You know, we don't have to go down that road. I usually go like, all right, okay. All right, I understand you did the squat, but I want you to do this instead and we'll fix it on the next round. That's how positive I am. All right. So usually you got to know what people are really attuned for. You have to know different types of people. You cannot train everybody the same way. Going on, like, yes. Okay. So all in all, getting people to like you. But at the end of the day, it is still a job and it's still part of sales. So in sales, you also have to close the deal.
Yes.
As well. And that's how you're going to make it in the gym industry, in this fitness industry. You can be hired as a personal trainer if you could tell your manager, show your boss that you could close deals. And it's ABC. Always be closing. A always, B, C closing. All right? So not only are you like buddies with people, you get to know everything about their lives. You've actually gone to the golf range, you know. But at the end of the day, close the deal. Whatever it is, get them to sign up, put their name on the dotted line, and then you become their coach, their trainer. You have to learn how to do sales. And honestly, as much as you learn about continuing education, you have to learn about the business side and how to close sales. So you also have to learn sales continuing ed. And it doesn't have to be fitness. It could be real estate. It could be selling knives. That was my first job, by the way. I sold knives. So that's one way to sort of succeed in this industry. Talk to everybody, but also learn how to close a deal. That's basically how you're going to make it. Also get people to like you. Get your boss to like you. Say yes. So in my experience, like I would usually get the clients because I was like, I would say yes to a lot of things. This was very early on, and that's because I was very hungry. I was like, Josh, can you take a 5 a.m.? Yes. Can you take this Sunday? Can you take 3 people on Sunday? Yes. No personal trainers there on Sunday. You know?
You got to be the one.
You got to be the weirdo that's there on Sunday, and you got to say yes to a lot of things. And when your boss sees you as someone who says yes, I was like, you are a dependable person. I want you to be dependable. All of a sudden, people have these boundaries like, oh, I don't want to start working until 9 a.m. You lost so much money and business. The 6 and 7 a.m. crowd is so busy that you lost so much business?
Yeah, I think in the big box gym or just generally in personal training, I think that in the first 3 to 5 years of starting your business, you really have to eat dirt and you have to eat anything that is even similar to dirt, which is training 5 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning, training at 6, 7, 8 p.m. at night. And you have to, like what Josh said here, you have to be a yes man. You have to be the one who's taking clients at any time that that gym is open. And heck, if they even ask you like, hey, can you come to my building? I have a gym downstairs. Can you come and meet me? And if your schedule allows and you can make it there by either running there, riding the city bike, or taking an Uber and getting your ass to that gym, you need to be saying yes to every opportunity in the beginning. Now, once you have 20, let's say once you have 10 to 20 solid clients that you know for a fact will be there for the long ride, then you can start switching it up and trying to figure out what schedule can work out best for you. But the reality is with personal training, that no matter from the day that you start personal training to the end, you will always have odd hours. You are going to be the person who says, I probably wake up 6 a.m. every single day on the weekdays, but I don't start work until blah, 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 blah. Right. You never have a consistent schedule. And if you do, then that is the golden ticket.
That's it, folks.
What's your advice for client retention?
Client retention.
That's like if people like you, other people will talk about you. Oh, my trainer makes me do this. My trainer makes me do that. There are people that repeat the words that I say that I stole from other people, but they think it's mine, which I'm gonna keep it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then you become a personality. It's like you got to train with Josh, and I'm like, hey, cool. Hey, if you talked about me, why don't you come on in? I'll give you. Always give free shit. Come on in. Let's train both of you. You're okay. I know it's a one-on-one. You're okay with your buddy training with you. Most 99% of the time, they're going to say yes. They're going to have like, I've trained one of my clients right now. It would start as a one-on-one. I trained him and his wife. I trained him and his son. And like, they've been coming to me. And I've like had his friends show up. And it's just a referral thing. A lot of people, if you want to ask, hey, anybody that you're interested, I do got openings, I do got spots. That's how you really expand. You go through word of mouth and referrals and whatnot.
Right. I think the whole marketing your personal training business online and trying to get a total and complete stranger has probably sailed long time ago because one, people buy from people that they know and they trust.
Correct.
And if somebody's already vouching you as a personal trainer that they should train with you, that's probably a reliable source from that person that they're getting it from.
There's some businesses in this city, in this town, that people are doing like handing out flyers, going to thing. Hey, when you come train with me, and then it's a picture of like somebody that lost 30 pounds or whatever. And I think those days are so dated. Mm-hmm. Where you have success stories and you have these two pictures, you have before and after pictures. I think before and after pictures are so dated. I think they're like from years past, mm-hmm. and we've gone past that. You know, there's no Body by Jake anymore. There's no God rest his soul, Richard Simmons. You know, I think those are the days of the past, and as of right now, it's all about vibes. And if you come in here and you want to train with the vibes, come through.
That is so spot on. It definitely is the vibes. As you can, like what we talked about earlier in this podcast, is that people want to train with you because they like you, whether you are actually genuine about your personality or you're faking it.
And people will read that.
Yes. And regardless of the two, person at the end of the day still is going to like you if it's true or not. And that's where you can actually have somebody sign up with you to do personal training, because again, they already know that they're going to be spending their week 1 to 3 hours with you, and they don't want to be spending it with somebody that they dread seeing.
Right.
So in my experience, there were trainers where they just talk so much, and then their client is just literally rolling their eyes or trying to find what's the closest machine that I can hop on so I can just start working out because my trainer's talking too much.
Oh God. Like every business, like you have to
Read the playing field.
it's sort of like a first date. You got to let them talk more than you're talking, because at the end of the day, they want to feel interested.
Right. And then later down the line, when you've been in a relationship for a month to 10 years, then I think the playing field of who can talk more is actually adjusted.
Yeah.
But in the beginning,
it becomes an actual relationship where there's a back and forth. There's
Right.
a 50-50.
Right.
All right. So all in all, I feel like, hey, look, we never discuss sets and reps.
Nope.
We never discuss methodology.
Nope.
What way is the correct way and why would it be kettlebells? No, we never discuss any of that stuff. It's all about personality.
Yep.
Getting through the door and getting people to like you and closing the deal.
Right.
So at the end of the day, just to close this off, do you feel like this is a worthwhile field? Is it worth it for people to get their feet wet?
Yes.
Very good. And that is how we end it, guys.
Long.
I was trying to understand that question.
Is
I
it a
need to go
worthwhile,
back
like,
to this episode and understand.
It's worth it, says Manny.
Yes, it is worth it. I think there's caveats to that question. Is that for me, it's always going to be yes, because one, I love training myself and other people, and I have found that doing training over the past 10 years of my life now has brought me a lot of reward. Well, where it's fulfilling for others and fulfilling for myself. And I think it's definitely worthwhile because at the end of the day, you are doing your best to try and change people's lives for the better. And hopefully in return, your life gets better as well, because you create this relationship with somebody of both improvement and just generally having a better life. So I think that's where I was coming from. But the other caveat is it is not a good industry for you to get your feet wet in or even sample if you really know for a fact that you do not like working with people. Because at the end of the day, you are working with people and their emotions that are all over the place on a daily basis. And if you cannot center yourself and ground yourself and truly understand that some days people are not going to be the same way that they were yesterday or the last week, then this is not the field for you.
Well said. It's very much like this episode in The Bear, season 3, where the guy who played the Punisher was talking. It was like, hey, this place is hectic. It gets crowded. It's still a job. Sometimes we don't have enough. But at the end of the day, we meet some really cool people. I've been to people's, people delivered. I went to, I've been to weddings. I've had like friendships. I've been invited to people's, like, they gave birth.
There's like, here, hold my child.
to human beings, and I attended. And I think it's so cool, the community that you sort of develop, you know, and I think it's kind of cool being involved in other people's lives. And honestly, I could say I don't know where I would be if I didn't get into this field, because all of the cool people and all the dope shit I've done.
Right.
You know?
I think it's you genuinely have to actually like people, and if you don't genuinely like people, you have to try to like people, because if you're trying to mask liking people and you're not even trying, or just straight up you don't like people, you're not going to want to talk to people. Like if you're the person who likes to be like very type A, who doesn't like any kind of bullshit, I don't think you're going to last in personal training, because half of it is actually bullshit. When you are training,
a lot of it is dead air.
When you're working out, you're doing a set for, let's say, 45 seconds. And then for 45 seconds, you're probably going to rest. Or if you're the type of guy who likes to kill your client every single day, then there's no talking. But even those little times that you have before the session and after the session, and hopefully in between sets, your personality has to stick out.
Right.
And if they really know for a fact that you don't like them there, they're not going to want to be there themselves, and they're going to find a way to exit, whether that's ghosting you, And whether that's finishing the 10 sessions they bought with you and ghosting you, or not doing any of those 10 sessions and still ghosting you, they're going to find a way to exit that relationship.
Right. And, not to make it a Hallmark moment, but you are honestly making a difference. Mm-hmm. You are making people better. You're letting them do exercise, and exercise is a good thing. You're doing a much better job than any doctor ever would. And I stand by that. I hold my ground. I think, what we do is real and what they do is not. All right. So on that note, guys, we'd like to thank you for joining in on this episode. We'll see you on the next one for more interesting takes. All right. And if you want to learn anything, let us know what you want to learn. We'll unveil everything and tell you the secrets of all our bad vices.
Yeah.
All right.
Peace.
Have a good one.